Welcome to a very special edition of Bleav in the Broncos on the Bleav Network, sponsored by Bet Online. I'm Patrick Chiotti. I'm one of your two hosts of this program. Joining me, as always, is former Denver Bronco Super Bowl 50 champion Chris Harris Jr. And joining us today, a very, very special guest, Jake the Snake Plummer. Jake, dude, so good to have you on. So good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Life is always full of interesting challenges and opportunities. And, during our playing days, it was always kind of, we knew what we were doing. And, the fun about being out of it is what's next. We get to play that game. We get to figure out where we want to throw our passion and put our energy behind. So, yeah, life's good. Raising kids, living in Colorado, and just took a yoga class and trying to take care of my body and doing all those things, man, to stay young and stay active. So,
Yes,
it's great,
sir.
though. I'm glad to join you guys. It's cool to have met your acquaintance, Patrick and Chris, and to see you, man. And you had a great career. It's awesome to, be on your guys' show today.
Two of my heroes, man. Two of my favorite Broncos of all time. And I get to sit here and talk with them. Chris, it's good to see you, man. We had a hilarious show with Mario Vitanzi last night. Sorry to keep you up so late. How are you doing, man?
Oh, doing good, man. Yeah, yesterday was fun, and I'm looking forward to the no fly zone cast that we're having. I got to continue to pub that out because that's going to be something new, that we're trying to do, kind of like the Madden cast or the Manning cast, and but kind of started on the Broncos network, so it's going to be pretty cool, and things with the NFL, and hope you never know what we can do. We try to max it. That's what we're talking about, trying to max it out as much as we can without breaking the rules, because NFL has so many rules, but
yeah,
it's gonna be fun though.
Man, both of you know so much about those NFL rules. Jake, this is a monumental podcast for me, for our listeners. You've been involved with the Broncos a few times. I saw that video that you did with Brad Williams. That was awesome. But I want to get back to the beginning. You were awesome at Arizona State. I was watching some of your Arizona State highlights last night, trying to get myself hyped up for this show. And then you go on and you're a second-round draft pick by the Cardinals, the in-state team. Had some ups and downs in Arizona. What was the deciding factor for you leaving Arizona after 6 seasons and then coming to ultimately being a Denver Bronco?
There was a few factors that really weighed in on that decision. As being 6 years with the Cardinals, not having a choice of where I went out of college. I was at first like, man, I'd like to go somewhere else, but then it was nice to be where I had played college ball and had a great following and fans, and had great 6 years there. A few real tough years though, where things didn't line up for us and injuries, and we struggled. So for me, I just wanted to win. I mean, I came from being a young kid, following a dream to win a Super Bowl. That's all I really wanted. I wanted to have a ring, to get a ring, because I thought that was, you do that, you've done it. And my whole thought was like, I want that. That's what I want. So when I got a chance to go be a free agent, there was Chicago and Denver were my two teams. And I won't lie, man, coming here in what is late March or early March, coming up here, and there was sunshine shining and it was nice. And I was in Chicago and it was sleet and rain and cold and nasty. And I was like, that did play a part, although it wasn't the determining factor. I mean, I was going to step into an organization that knew how to win, that had just been a few years removed from winning back-to-back Super Bowls. They had the pieces in place. Coach Shanahan is a genius, knows how to put a quarterback into position to excel. Gary Kubiak, I really vibed with Gary Kubiak. And then, looking at the pieces of the puzzle, I felt we were, steps away from being a legitimate title contender. And that was the ultimate thing. I took less money to come to play for the Broncos because this organization was so far and above primed for success than where I had been before. And that was a determining factor. I wanted to win right now. I didn't plan on playing 12, 15 years. As you see, I retired at 10. I wanted to get it done, man, get that ring and get out. And I felt this was my best place to get that opportunity.
That's awesome. Chris? Oh, you're muted, Chris. There you go.
I got magically muted. Yeah, good.
Yeah, you're good.
You can hear me good?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was saying when you were in Denver, right? Because I was a kid watching, we were watching the games. That was like probably the last time before my era, that we were probably really good,
Mm-hmm.
Did you get to play? Did you play some with Tatum too?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
You had Tatum too. That's
Friend
our
of the
guy,
show.
man. That's our friend of the show right there, man.
Yeah, Tatum's legit, man. I have fun just trying to understand what he was saying, man. The way he talks in that Texas drawl, man. He's like, what'd you say? He always be laughing at me. Come on, Snake. You don't know what I'm talking about? Like, okay, man, it's all right.
Yeah, that was my question, though. Oh, did you get that nickname when you were in Denver, or was that Jake the Snake, or was that before?
I got that long before. I was my real name is actually not Jake, it's Jason. So when I got into third grade, I transferred into a class with 4 other Jasons, and the teacher was like, do you go by anything else? I said, yeah, I've gone by Jake before. And so she said, hello, class. We want to welcome a new student. His name is Jake. And so I became Jake, known by all my peers and everything. And then as sports came into the picture, I went to a basketball camp in McCall, Idaho. Chris Childs was playing for Boise State, Arnell Jones, a bunch of these big dudes that I really looked up to were the coaches. And they started calling me the Snake. And so all my peers and friends started calling me the Snake, but my brothers were really behind that. They were the ones that had me read Kenny Stabler's book. He's the original Snake. Yeah. I didn't get the nickname from Jake the Snake Roberts. Wikipedia is wrong.
Yeah.
It's Kenny Stabler, and the fact that it rhymed with Jake. Yeah. And I will be remiss if I didn't say, like, I was hard to catch. So I was slithery and quick and kind of like a snake. If you ever tried to catch a snake, it ain't easy. So the nickname was good. And then when I got to ASU, of course, I started signing my name, Jake the Snake Plummer. And it had all that in it. Jake the Snake with parentheses and number 1. I mean, I was hyped. I've been practicing an autograph my whole life. So when I got a chance to sign it and do it real, yeah, it was on. So that's where the nickname came. And thank goodness I had quick feet and was able to live up to some of that hype of being a snake-like player.
Imagine if you had the NIL with that, right? Because he already had a brand. He already had a nickname. Like, he had all the shirts, all the, everything with the Jake the Snake, man.
Oh, I would have been dialed out in like snake skin jackets.
Yeah, man.
Snake everything would have been
everything, man.
Big time. But, I'm kind of glad we didn't have that back then, man. It would have been a distraction. I was glad to focus on playing ball. And my goal was, like I said, I didn't really care about any of that. I mean, my family did well enough to support me during my college playing days when we were only getting a scholarship check. So I didn't struggle, but I just wanted a ring, man. And even when they paid me all the money in the league, I was like, I just want to put the pieces together, please. Like, you're paying me all this money, make sure you're getting a good starting center, some good left tackle, and make sure you're paying to have the pieces around me, because I'm only one piece of this pie and I need the rest of it to be around to be good. And that's what was beautiful about the Broncos. They put all those pieces together.
Yeah, you literally had a Hall of Fame center in Tom Nalen, dude. One of the greatest to ever play the game. Jake, your skill set, really, like, looking back at the Shanahan offense, your skill set as a quarterback is like the perfect fit for that offensive scheme. Someone who can roll out, get out on those naked boots, has the athleticism to do so, has the arm strength, the anticipation to throw across the middle. You had it all. There were some reports that you and Mike Shanahan didn't really see eye to eye on some things. What was your relationship like with Mike? And is there anything that you look back on and would change about your experience playing in Denver?
Yeah, well, thank you for that. It gets me kind of like, I Jones to go roll with my left one more time in the league.
Dude,
rolling to the left was my favorite thing, because no one expected a quarterback to roll to the left and then be able to rip it, through gaps down the field and deep comebacks and deep crosses. And that was just how I played growing up on the playground at Pierce Park Elementary. And like, that was my game. I was recess when I was booting out, and I loved it. And of course I fit that system really well. And we were able to really accentuate that with the downhill running game. We had some great running backs, Clinton Portis, Reuben Drones. We talked about Tatum. We had some really awesome Mike Anderson running backs that would get downhill. So defenses had to respect that, because they were getting 3 or 4 effortlessly.
Not a run game.
effortlessly. Like it was 3 or 4 down, boom. And then when I was tucking it and coming out, man, we were just killing fools. And it was a lot of fun. My relationship with Mike was really good. And, it like any player that goes through enough time, when a coach is starting to put demands on you to not change you, but to make you learn more when you feel like I knew what I was doing. I was really well versed in this offense. He wanted me to know more. And I was like, well, I don't want to have to come up and analyze a three eye or a 3 by my right over my right guard in order to know the safety's coming down. I'm going to watch. And when I see the safety come down, I'm going to react. That's the kind of player I was. I was not, oh, he's 2 feet out of the space he's supposed to be in. They're going to now cover. That wasn't my game. I mean, I knew it. I was knowledgeable, and he was trying to push me into that mode of kind of like Peyton, where you played with Peyton, Chris. I mean, like 2 years in a row, he whooped our ass in the playoffs, and we could not beat him with a D coordinator watching from up top with a D. We could not beat him. He was trumping every call we made. And so I think Mike wanted a little bit more of that from me, where we were going so well with just balling how we were doing it. And Kube and I had a really great relationship. When Kubiak left, there was a little bit of a change there. And excuse me. Woo.
Bless you.
Yeah, excuse me. So Mike and I didn't really have much of a riff. It was more a misunderstanding with each other. There was some communication that, hey, you're looking great. What are you doing? I'm like, man, I've been up in Idaho at the lake, playing on the lake, working out, having fun. He said, you need to spend more time up there. So what did I do? I spent more time up there. Did I miss a little bit of my workouts? Did I not get 90%? Yeah. But instead of him, saying, hey, great, you look great, thanks for coming back ready, he made an example of me as like not committed to the general like theme and vision of this team by getting my 90% workouts with Tootin. Listen, I didn't do my thing in the weight room. The weight room was not where I did my thing. I wasn't booting left, throwing deep crosses and comebacks and slithering away from guys. Yes, I knew the weight room was important, but that miscommunication kind of set us on a path of like, oh, okay, now you're starting to take little chops on me and try to take away my natural leadership, that I was the leader of that team. I mean, we had, you said Tommy Nalen, who, will be a Hall of Famer. There's Champ Bailey, Hall of Famer, John Lynch, Hall of Famer, Rod Smith should be a Hall of Famer. Shannon Sharp was on a couple of those teams. He's a Hall of Famer. Al Wilson could very well find himself as a Hall of Famer. I mean, Trevor Price, and we had like ballers. And so I was their guy. Like I was that guy. And so it was really tough when we drafted a quarterback, one game from the big game, one game from making it to the Super Bowl. What do we improve upon? We go get a quarterback. When I'm like, Jesus, I just led these guys. I just did my thing, and we're one game away, and now we need a quarterback? I don't get it. I wasn't going to play for very long. Like that year in 2005, I wanted that ring bad, because that was going to be it for me. I was going to say, peace out. Thank you. I came, I got my ring. Boom. Thank you, everybody. Because I could say thank you, and everybody watching would be everybody that I would want to have watching would say thank you. And it didn't turn out. So I came back for that last year, and the rifts started happening, and that little bit of like dissension between me and him. And then it went public, and then the papers started going. Back then there were 2 papers, and I did my best, man. I was still 7-4, got benched. I took about a week off. Then I realized, like, nah, man, I got to be the leader. I got to lead these guys, even if the guy replacing me doesn't know what he's doing yet. I still got to be that guy. And it was all right, man. I ended up retiring after that, and I don't look back, man. Me and Mike have buried the hatchet. If there was anything, I did say some words post-career about him, but I kind of wish I hadn't said when he was coaching McNabb, and there was some of that same stuff happening. But Mike was a great coach. I mean, good Lord, the 4 years I spent there, I put up great numbers. I won a lot of games. I legitimized myself as a quarterback that knew how to get it done and could win the games that were necessary to be won. And that's all you can ask for. You gain that respect. I was happy to be done and out of it and ready to move on.
I'll tell you right now, I don't care what anybody says. That 2005 Broncos team would have whooped Seattle in the Super Bowl. Y'all would have handled business so well. And it broke my heart as a young fan. It broke my heart, because watching you guys beat Brady at home that was electric. I went to school the next day, and I was pointing at all of my friends who said that the Broncos would lose in the playoffs. And then, you know what? That's okay. But
sorry,
Chris,
man.
no, don't apologize, because you gave me 4 years of the best fandom of my life. Chris, what do you got?
That was my question was next was how was it throwing in practice, man, dealing with Champ, man, prime this and that.
I loved it, man. My favorite time in practice was going one-on-ones. I got the beauty of playing with Aeneas Williams in Arizona too. So
I'm
going against
corners right there,
dude. Yeah, I mean, off-season workouts with him. He was just oh my God, that guy was a machine. One story about him. We were throwing in the heat of the summer. I threw to all my receivers. They were tired. They're like, let's go. He had shadowed like every other one, just shadowing them in their moves. And then he's like, Jake, can you throw me some go routes? I'm like, sure. And I'm throwing him deep. I'm like, how far? Throw him as deep as you can. I want to run him down. I threw till my arm was tired. Then I'm packing my stuff up and I look and he's running 110s. I'm like, oh my God, this guy. I mean, that just was playing against him every day and having him as a teammate for a couple of years was great. But having Champ on my team was awesome because like Champ was a nemesis of mine, man. He picked me off a lot when I was with the Cardinals and Redskins, and like I kind of helped him out his first game as a rookie, or one of our first games. I threw him. He had 3 picks on me in one game, and I didn't like Champ that much. And when he came to be a Bronco, I told him, I don't like you that much, but I'm glad you're on my team right now. And he knew I was playing. Of course I didn't have any reason to hate him, but so fun to go against him in practice. And I made sure one-on-ones that I was going to get it from those guys. So Chris, the DBs, man, they don't want to hear some quarterback come over there and talk shit, but that's what I do because I knew if they were fired up a little bit more, or if I got them a little ignited, that I was going to get their best shot. And that's what I wanted, man. I wanted to see them at their best because we had some ballers at corner. So if I'm completing the ball with Rod and Ashley Lely and these guys against Champ, then there's no other corner in the league I'm scared of right now. I'm gonna go out there and do it. And I got the beauty and chance to play against Dion too, and it was the same thing, man. Like I loved playing against Dion, and we were supposed to not throw at Dion, but I threw at Dion. Why wouldn't I? I'm in the league. My coaches were pissed off, but I'm like, man, I'm here to play against the best in the world, and if he's the best and I complete a ball on him, that makes me pretty damn good,
Yeah. Dude, you had to play against, I can't imagine what those Broncos practices were like. Tatum kind of filled us in on some of those those practices from him going against Al Wilson.
One thing on the workout stuff with Tootin. People don't realize how Tootin be working people out, man. It's like that dude's a sergeant, man. So I see why that you weren't there.
He wanted me to get thick and all bulky, and I'm like, I'm not doing bench press. Yes, you are. I'm like, I'm not going to put my shoulders in. And he gets so mad. And then finally, I just like, this is what I'm going to do instead, And he didn't like it, but he worked with me, man. He was a great strength coach, Yeah. Crime Dog. Crime Dog was he was the weigh-in coach.
I had them for 1 year. And, as soon as Peyton came, they were like, oh, no, you got to get out of here. We got some new updated technology here.
Yeah, man. That, the staff there, that's what was really special about playing with the Broncos. They were told and coached and really preached upon taking care of the players. Like what they need, do it. Whatever they want, get it. Like we want them to be at peace and able to focus on what we want to do here, and that's win. So it was really nice playing for that organization.
Jake, your career, after your career ended with Denver, you walked away from the game, and you have done a lot of really interesting stuff after your playing career. I know that you're a very big handball enthusiast, which is awesome. I think I thought I saw something about handball being in the Olympics in
team handball. It's team handball, so not the individual game, but yeah.
But I wanted to talk to you about your work with mushrooms. And this has been your passion project, and you're working with 2 different organizations, Umbo and Mycolove Farms. What was the driving force behind this mission? And would you like to see mushroom and CBD treatments more readily accessible for current and former NFL athletes?
Yeah, great question. I'll get to that. But, my journey has been one of, being open to what presents itself, opportunities that arise. the journey to get to where I'm at with mushrooms, functional mushrooms. I'll get to the confusion around mushrooms here in a minute, but it started with post-career, dealing with injuries, dealing with my body settling, not being in the weight room all the time, not taking as good care as my body, as we did when we played. I mean, we maybe take a few weeks off and you're right back in the weight room and you're right back getting therapy, getting stretched. We treated our bodies and took care of our bodies to a high standard. And when you retire, it's not easy to keep that standard set. And the injuries started to come up. And so I'd had both hips operated on, not replaced, but labrums reattached, some microfracture done, just the wear and tear. And the NFL, funny thing about them and the money they make, our insurance is only good for 5 years post-career, but they do have a lot of great subsidized ways to get money and get support. But when I was back in Colorado and I had some good friends, Nate Jackson, Charlie Adams, some guys that played for the Broncos, they got in touch with a guy from Charlotte's Web who was having CBD, the CBD oil, and it was working wonders with these children with severe seizure disorders. Yeah. People from all over the U.S. were moving to Colorado because it had been decriminalized here, so they didn't risk persecution to come here and give their babies a medicine that was helping them. And so we started taking it as athletes, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I dabbled around with marijuana and THC and all that as just as what it was. It was like, oh, I'm going to a concert. Yeah. I was real careful when I was playing to stay clean because I didn't want to be made out to be such a bad person like some of these other guys have in their careers, namely Ricky Williams, who was like, a badass mofo to given anything to play with that guy, yet he was a cancer in the locker room because he smoked weed. Like, what a joke, just the perception. So it started to change by us educating people about the difference between CBD and marijuana, hemp and marijuana, basically, and the cannabinoids that were really helpful for our bodies. I started to feel better. I felt inflammation going away. I felt more clear-headed. I was resting. I felt like things were just moving better. And I met someone in that journey named Dale Jolly. He was working for Charlotte's Web. He's now one of my best buddies in my life. And he came to show me the power of the mushrooms about 4 years ago, right during the start of the pandemic. I started taking functional mushroom tinctures. These are legal, non-psychedelic, fully accessible, sold at grocery stores all around the United States. They've been used for hundreds and hundreds of years in China and in Eastern medicine for a whole slew of ailments and disease, but they're new here to America because there's mycophobia here. When you say mushrooms, most people start giggling and go, "Oh, I don't. Can I eat this mushroom bar? Will I trip out if I go to 24-hour fitness?" And like, no, I'm selling these at REI. These are functional. They're legal. So it's another educational process, but it's taught me so much just about what people expect from what they feel is something that may help them heal. A lot of people want immediate results. Like you eat your broccoli, you don't go the next day like, damn, that broccoli was amazing, man. I put up my best lift and I was on fire. No, but you eat it all the time because it's good for you. Right. So we treat these the same way, although you can see some profound benefits pretty quickly by using, lion's mane, cordyceps, reishi, turkey tail. Those are 4 of the most common ones. But then you got shiitake that's served in a lot of different menus around town. It's a great mushroom. It's very, very yummy, gourmet, edible. So yeah, we're educating people. We're looking for people that want to, live longer because these have been proven to help longevity, help your body function better. They're really strong adaptogens. Some of the oysters have the most vitamin D, some of the most vitamin D you can get naturally of any other thing on the planet. So it's just it's nature. And yes, there are psilocybin mushrooms that will take you on a journey, take you wherever you need to go and connect you back with source. And if that's what you want to use and you feel like that's in your coming up for you, then look at it. There are a lot of people healing from a lot of mental illness using, again, something that grows out in fields. It's nature. So it's a real powerful thing. And it's a ton of fun. I love educating people. I love to be able to get emails back from people whose lives have been changed, who are functioning at a much better level, or maybe they helped them with their stress or their anxiety or their sleeping. And, those little changes. And I always liken it back to the pain you feel, when athletes like Chris, I'm sure you feel pain. Patrick, you do too, probably. Everybody has injuries. But when you can decrease that pain by just a little bit, you're like, whoa, man, I feel better. Even though the pain's not gone, it's just a little better. So that's what we're looking for. It's a positive intervention on a better path to wellness. And it's fun doing that with Umbo, which is the brand we're using. And then I got a chance to start farming mushrooms at Michael Love Farms. And, that was a lot of fun. That is a lot of fun, just going out and watching from the start to finish, these little organisms be grown and harvested and then put in a bottle. Met a lot of great people that are really interested in healing not only themselves, but others, and also helping Mother Earth kind of get cleaned up and feel better too.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. My question I had, and that's all, amazing, because, we got to find ways to find healthier ways naturally to heal ourselves, But your playing style kind of remind me of like a Brock Purdy, man. That's kind of like, that's like my for you. But, or let me try to think, or like a Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow's kind of just a bigger like version,
Yeah, Joe's pretty good, man.
But what do you think about Bo Nix, man, in that first preseason game?
Yeah, I just saw some highlights. I'm the preseason is a great time for the guys to get out there, get the butterflies out, understand that it's still football, even though you're coming from college. It's still the game of football. We say it's a tune-up, but I really don't think. I think you could get rid of the preseason and we'd all show up day one for the first game ready to go. I don't think you need the preseason.
Our whole life. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hated it because I'm risking getting hurt. And I did get hurt early on in the preseason one year and had the worst year of my career because of it. And so I watched, of course, he looked good. I think we see a glimpse of what they can do, his abilities. He's going to be able to do all the RPO. He's going to be able to throw the ball wherever. He's going to be able to run. And he's got a lot of talent. I think the sky's the limit for this kid. It's whether we can be patient as Bronco fans with a 10-year drought. Can we let this kid have some bad days, give him some leeway, or are we going to pull the rope quick and put someone else in? Because the only way to get better is to be out there in the fire. And these kids come in so much more prepared for the league than say I did coming out of ASU in the 97 draft. They're eighth graders and they know what I knew coming out of college. They're primed and ready to be pros from day one. So that's not going to be what his problem is. He's going to handle the media. He's going to handle the community service. He's going to handle upstairs. He's coached how to do this. It's going to be how well those other 51 dudes, when they watch him walk in and they see him, do they look at him and go, that's our dude right there. That's our guy. I want to play for him. Look at that.
What I say, Pat.
That's it. If that's what he can do, and the only way to do that is not in the preseason. It's game 1, game 2, game 4 when he's got the ball and there's a minute and a half left. Now you got to complete 4 third down and whatevers. Do you rip it through there and fearlessly do it? And maybe you throw a pick 6 and lose that game. How do you show up after that, Bo Nix? Do you come back in the locker room and they still look at you and go, that's our mofo right there. There he is. He isn't changing. He's consistent. He's actually working hard. Right. I like that. So there's more to it than just all the skill sets and all that. And I really think he's going to be successful. I'm an optimist. So I really hope he does, because this town will love him. But I know this town's going to be impatient and also very highly critical of every move he makes. So tune that all out and get focused where it matters. Your 51 dudes, those trainers, the equipment guys, that little bubble in that building, those are your people right now. Get real cozy with them and know, let's ride it out for 18 weeks.
People think it's easy to play in Denver. They don't have a clue, man. It's like a small little town, the same media people. Everybody knows who you are in Denver.
Yeah.
Right. So it's everywhere Bo goes, they're gonna know where he's at. They're gonna know where he's eating. They're gonna know everything about him. So it's just, you gotta just embrace that. It's tough to play there. You got to take on the challenge and just know what comes with it.
Yeah, I think that's, if you go do it, then yeah, the beauty of it is you win a lot of games because they know what they're doing. That's what they're primed to do. So, yeah, I'm excited to see how he does.
Yeah, I mean that's why a big guy like Peyton Manning was able to handle that.
Yep.
He was already one of the GOATs in the NFL when he came to Denver. So, Jake, we did see a little bit of Jake Plummer out of Bo Nix on in that first preseason game, rolling to his left and delivering a strike to Cortland Sutton. So, Jake, really appreciative of your time. I got one last question for you. You know, the NFL is a brotherhood, as we all know, and you know, one of the biggest stories from your career, probably one of my favorite stories, is the story of, you know, your old college teammate and your old teammate, Pat Tillman, who tragically passed away in Iraq, or Afghanistan, excuse me. And, you know, the way that you handled everything after that, you know, trying to commemorate him with your helmet and the NFL rejecting you is bullshit. But I just wanted to ask, you know, what is your favorite memory of Pat Tillman?
Man, it's tough. There's so many. It is funny you mentioned the sticker thing because I was due to get fined like hundreds of thousands of dollars for wearing it. And now look, I mean, it's like salute service Pat Tillman Day on the NFL.
Yeah, right.
It's funny, but hey, anyway, you know, I just recently did a big interview about Pat, and you know, I try to field some questions and take the pressure for the media off of his family because, you know, we lost somebody who was a teammate and a dear friend, but they lost their brother, their son, their cousin, their nephew. You know, he was a remarkable human. He really affected a lot of people with his genuine authenticity and interest and curiosity in not just life, but you, like the person across from him. He was a great friend. He was a phenomenal teammate. You know, there was a lot of memories, you know, with him, you know, fun things that he did, but probably one of the best ones was at practice with the Cardinals. You know, he came into the league and here's this dude with long hair, looking like a surfer, talking like a surfer dude, dropping F-bombs, reading like Mein Kampf during training camp. And like everybody's like playing home run derby and playing video games, and he's in there reading. Like guys were a little like, the hell is this cat? So at practice, you know, he had one speed, and his speed was 100%. And that's why when he came to SU, me and him hit it off right away because I was the same way. In practice, I might forget we're even in practice. When that ball snapped, man, my thought is it's go time. And so he was the same way. And so Matt Cody was one of our receivers, our punt returner with the Cardinals. He ran a little dig route, caught the ball, and Pat came up and gave him a pop, like popped him. And so this offseason, Pat had done some Muay Thai fighting or some kind of like judo training.
Yeah.
And so Matt jumps up and they go at it, and they're scrapping, and you know, it's a melee. And in the middle of this melee, Pat has Mac's head, and all you hear is Pat, and you see him trying to throw knees to Mac's face, and he's going, hi-ya, hi-ya, and he's doing the hi-ya in the middle of this fight, and like halfway through it, half the team's just rolling on the ground laughing. Coach is pissed off, separates them, makes them go stand on the sideline right next to each other for the rest of practice. But we were laughing so hard because like Pat was hi-ya, like knee to the head, karate chopping Matt Cody. You know, Pat was just awesome to play with. But, you know, I had a lot of great teammates. He's one of them. And you know, his legend is forever stamped because of his decision to go follow his heart and feel what was right for him to go over and not necessarily defend our freedom and fight for our country, but really to feel for himself like what it was worth to be in this country, to sacrifice. So he did it for himself, and it ended up becoming this grand thing around the globe. People know him for. I'm just grateful that he was a great friend and one of my best buds. And you know, I miss him. I wish he was around to hammer me and ask me the tough questions about umbo and mushrooms and cordyceps. Why does cordyceps do that? Well, what's in cordyceps and why should I? You know, like he just was that guy that, you know, really leveled you up. And I miss him. I miss him a lot.
Yeah, we all miss him. And Jake, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate you. If you got anything else to plug away.
Hey, you know what? Let's run a Bleav 15 for anybody out there listening. Could go to getumbo.com and use Bleav 15. Bleav, I guess I'm supposed to say, but BLEAV 15, and you can get a little discount if you want to try out some of these mushrooms. You know, we're saying umbo is mushrooms for athletes, and you don't have to be a pro athlete. You just have to be active and wanting to perform and recover. and get out there. So, hey, it's great to talk to you guys, to meet you, Patrick.
Make up a tweet, Pat. Make up a tweet with that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah,
We're gonna plug it.
Let me know what I can do to throw things out. You know, I'm on Instagram at Snake Plummer, and I don't do much on that other, whatever, it's Twitter or X or whatever anymore. But yeah, man, it's great to see you, Chris.
Man.
An amazing career, man. You were fun to watch, and you played with a lot of heart too, man. I really enjoyed your career, and glad to join you guys today, man. I really appreciate the time.
Oh yeah, no problem. We're gonna have you back too, man. We're gonna have you
you're gonna be back, Jake.
Let's do it, man.
Make you like an honorable, quarterback when the guru. When it's time to break down the quarterbacks, man. We got
all right, man.
The first highlight.
I got to keep my eye on them. Then I try to keep track of them. It's a lot to do to watch all those games, but I got my eyeball
just
on.
Just watch Bo. We'll be good. We're good with that.
Watch Bo. I might go see him in practice here soon. So
hey, there you go.
Yeah,
for Jake Plummer, for Chris Harris Jr. Thank you so much. Make sure that you follow us on whatever follow us on Twitter at Chris Harris Jr., at Patrick Chiotti, at Bleav Network as well. Make sure you subscribe to the show on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on, and go ahead and follow YouTube as well. Until next time, Broncos country, thanks for listening.